Hey everybody, today I'm bringing you another installment of Work the Line, which is my series with Rachel Reynolds, where we each take a collection and make a layout with it. Rachel and I have selected Maggie Holmes Bloom. We both had a ton of this line left, at least in paper, and so we decided it was time to get rid of it, especially for me since I have carousel coming in. So what I did here is I took that chevron paper, and that is the Delighted paper. And I liked how it had many of the colors in from the line, and that way it made it a little bit easier for me to coordinate things to it. So I took the chevron paper and just cut a mat for my photo, and then I inked it with my Memento Dewdrop Gray flannel ink. And then I just cut the branding strip off of that bright pink dot paper, which is called Blossom. And then I took that deer paper, which is called My Deer, and I cut a rectangle of it. Now I'm not exactly sure how much of that I want to, like how far over to the left I want it to go. So I just cut a 12-inch strip of it, and I figured that I would figure out the rest of it later. And what I'm doing here is I had a cut apart sheet, and that's where the love and butterfly came from, and I don't know exactly what the name of that, actually I do know, never mind. The cut apart sheet is called Fresh, and that's where the love and butterfly came from there. And it's also where that little Together cut apart came from as well. So I'm also thinking about using that sold ticket, but that's actually not going to make it on this particular layout. Now, you're probably wondering why this photo of my friend and I, why I'm using a deer theme and how that could possibly work together, or if it has any significance, and it actually does. And the reason is we were on just a walk together. This friend of mine has a cabin in the woods, and we were on a walk. There's a lot of deer around it, and we thought maybe we would see some deer, which we absolutely did not. So as a matter of fact, I didn't see any deer around their house that weekend, and they're frequently there, so they were hiding from me, but we did see some as we were taking a drive. So I picked that My Deer paper for that reason. And then I also knew that I had some deer cut aparts here, and that little gingham deer there, which is from a die cut, came from the die cut ephemera pack there. Then I'm also just kind of going through, I'm sorry, the gingham deer is not from there. There's a little blue deer that's a die cut that I don't end up using. However, the die cut that I do end up using is the purple gingham one, and that's from the ephemera pack. If only I could read my own notes, right? Where that deer is from is that deer, the gingham deer, and then that little banner that says My Happy Heart. Those are both chipboard pieces. And those are from the chipboard stickers from the Bloom collection. So sorry about that. So the die cut is the heart there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink all these pieces, just because even though they're from the same collection, they don't necessarily feel like they go together very well to me. So that ink is going to help pull everything together here. And I'm going to use that Love, Love, Love cut apart there. I like that because I love the walk and the nature, but I also love this friend of mine. But it pulls together all the colors I'm using again. So I do that with both the chevron paper and that die cut there, because otherwise the colors just would look like they maybe didn't go together, or they didn't have a reason for being together. And I'm going through now, and I'm trying to get this deer positioned, and I wanted to make sure that you couldn't see, or there weren't any open trapped white spaces behind the deer, because if I wasn't careful, the bottom edge of that butterfly piece was a little bit low. And I just used the butterfly piece because we were out in nature. It really had nothing to do with anything other than that. And here I am again. Now I'm inking the edges of the My Deer paper. And really, with the way this is going right now, I have the basics of the layout done here. Just kind of I'm trying to get it a little bit darker along that edge so there's a really nice shadow. All right, so I did that, and then at the top up there, I didn't talk about this, but I cut that word together off that other piece from the fresh cut aparts, and I put it at the top. And then what I did there is I have that little bag of punched hearts and butterflies and other things, and I use that. I'm using it in a wedding album, but I also just add these to layouts from time to time for my layouts. So I grabbed one of the larger ones, which is the one I just put down there. That was made with a Martha Stewart punch, and the glitter paper is from Recollections. And then the little heart on the top with the together is from, it's called an X punch, the small heart punch, and I got that at Ben Franklin. I don't really know the name of the company itself, I just know that that's where it came from. So that's a really nice tiny size punch. The little gold glitter heart on the chipboard banner there that says My Happy Heart actually came on the banner. It was affixed to it already. So I had just picked up that chipboard. I was at my local scrapbook store a couple weeks ago, and they still had a sheet of this chipboard, and it was so hard to get when this collection first was out. So look at your local scrapbook store. And my local scrapbook store is really not all that local to me anymore. It's 40 or 50 miles away. So I don't make it to that one all that often, but I have a friend who is just started scrapbooking not that long ago and really didn't know about local scrapbook stores because she had been buying it from Creative Memories. And so I was showing her what that was about and introducing to her to online stores as well. And I told her that just to make sure she wanted me to do that because once she started, it would be hard to stop. So, but we did. We went that day and had a really good time together. And I did buy a few things, this chipboard being one of them. So now I'm going through and I am going to use that alphabet there. If I could only think of the word. And you know what? I'm really sorry. I did not write down this alphabet. I don't know what I was doing when I wrote all these notes down, but it is an older alphabet. It was from one of the Maggie Holmes collections. I think it's from the original Maggie Holmes collection that this is from. So it's old, you know, I don't know that you can get a hold of it anymore, but there are certainly lots of other glitter, gold glitter alphas from Maggie Holmes. I think, as a matter of fact, her brand new collection, Carousel, actually has one. As a matter of fact, I know it does because I bought it. You can never have too many gold glitter alphabets, right? So I was originally thinking about titling this Forest Walk, and I just MacGyvered a K into an L there. And we took a really quick walk this night because the mosquitoes, which should be the state bird in our neck of the woods, were out really badly that night, and it was getting towards dusk, and we knew that if we were walking at dusk, we would get eaten alive. So those of you who live in the northern climates especially know, at least in the United States, I don't know about Europe, you know, now that I think about it, I've never been there during a mosquito season. But anyway, those of you who live in the northern climate certainly know what a mosquito is. And there's lots of jokes in the Midwest about how mosquitoes should be the state bird of a lot of our states because we grow them big and they're hungry. Anyway, so I'm going to title this Quick Forest Walk. I was just going to call it Forest Walk, but I decided to call it Quick Forest Walk because it had to be very quick because we needed to get back in before the mosquitoes really came out. And I'm going to MacGyver a couple of letters here, and you'll see me do that in just a minute. And look at that. I used a Q. As a matter of fact, I didn't have a Q because I had used it for other letters, probably like an A, and I had to grab a B and make that into my Q. So yay me, isn't that funny? But with this particular alphabet, it's really easy to do that. Very, very simple. All right, so I'm just going down a couple of edges, and then I'm going to ink this word together here. It's really, you know, I do have the Bloom die cuts left, which is where obviously that heart came from, and I had been looking at using a flower, but I don't have a ton of those pieces left. I didn't get a ton of ephemera and that kind of stuff originally with this particular collection, but I really made the die cut, or not the die cuts, the cut apart sheets work for me. So like one of the things I could have done if I needed more embellishments, I could have taken that butterfly that's in that frame and I could have cut that out, fussy cut that out, or I could have cut the frame out as well and just framed something else too. So if you don't have a lot of ephemera or stickers or those kinds of things, think about doing those kinds of things to help you make the layouts work. And that the love, love, love on this particular one, I could have cut those 3 words apart as well and had 3 embellishments. I could have made them into banners. Lots of different ideas that you can do from the cut apart sheets and make those work for you versus you working to use them. They don't do me any good sitting in my stash, so I'm happy to cut them apart and those kinds of things if I can put them on layouts. And I love those cut apart sheets. And then if you just pop some type of dimensional adhesive like my foam tape under there, you get a really nice dimensional embellishment as well. Now I just tap my fingers on the layout there because that's where I decided I am going to add my journaling. And I think I was watching something on my iPad. I don't remember what it was. So I just put the date on the top of that little butterfly Polaroid cut apart there. And then I'm just going to add the journaling down here. So make sure you check out my description box because I will link Rachel's video in that box. And you can also go to the playlist on my channel for the other Work the Line videos that we have done as well, as if you want to go back. And Rachel's are linked in all of those as well too. So I hope you guys are well, and I will be back with another layout again soon. Look for the still shot and a couple of detail shots. Bye!